I wasn't actually intending to review this one. This is Bruce Beresford's 1999 thriller Double Jeopardy, and having watched it last night I was so impressed with it I thought it actually deserves a full review. So just why did this one impress me so much last night when I ran it? Well, really it's the image quality. Now it's got an aspect ratio of 2.40 to 1 approximately. It's got Dolby Digital 5.1 True HD sound, and it has a running time of about 1 hour and 45 minutes. It had an estimated budget of $70 million and it took at the worldwide box office $177 million. I very much enjoyed it as a film, and a big reason for that was because it looks so good on this 4K disc. Now there are a lot of outdoor brightly lit scenes and that certainly does help, but it's the fine grain stock that this was shot on, and the film grain is almost invisible most of the film. That's quite unusual, and for those of you that are thinking they've used excessive image noise reduction, digital noise reduction as we call it, that is certainly not the case. You can see just about every detail in every single frame. Now there's always a bit of DNR used because you have to. The scanning process, as we've been told by Universal on a couple of occasions, does exacerbate the film grain, but if there has been DNR applied to it on this occasion, it just looks perfect to me. Now you compare this against the Blu-ray, and the Blu-ray on its own is another one you'd look at it and you think excellent. I think it's an older Blu-ray because to me that looks like it's come from a general release print. It just hasn't got the depth, the contrast, it hasn't got the brightness in the dark areas, the colours are different, there's not enough shading in the sky, whereas on the 4K you can see the blues going to white and things like that. But on the Blu-ray that all seems completely lost and all seems a bit crushed up and not as involving, and that's one of the reasons why, having watched the 4K, I found myself drawn into it. Now the story is a bit ridiculous at times, but then these thrillers always are. It's a bit Hitchcockian in a way, and they've twisted the American laws so that you cannot be tried for the same criminal act twice. You have to watch the film really to see what that means, but I found that particularly interesting, and I think the filmmakers knew that when they were making it they'd get away with that because people would be drawn in, and that was how I found myself drawn in and completely enveloped in it. Now not everyone is going to think it's the greatest film ever made, but as I said, I think this 35mm transfer, and this time it's anamorphic 35mm, which means the whole of that 35mm frame has been used and we're getting the full quality. Just have to unsqueeze it at the end of the process when projecting. It looks beautiful, and I was interested to see it when this 4K came out, but a film I hadn't actually seen, £20, I thought I'll wait a while, and then recently when I was in HMV it was in the 2 for £30 deal, and with this beautiful slipcover, which John at Mondo Chelovek Movies has really got me into because of his obsession, or rather his love of slipcovers. And this one really has got some style to it. It's all very glossy, so worth looking for one of those if you can get it. I think often when you order online from HMV you just get it in the ordinary case, and that's happened to me a few times. But this one, because I knew that sort of thing was happening, I'd seen a few around in HMV without the slipcover, so when I was in the Newbury HMV and it was in that 2 for £30, time to finally take a look, and it's been sat there a while I've been getting through some other discs that I've purchased and hadn't watched, and what an absolute treat to see this and have such a great time in here. The sound is very good, it's totally suitable to the imagery on screen. I don't think it's over the top or anything like that, and it certainly doesn't need to be upgraded into the latest DTS-X or Dolby Atmos or anything else. It's just nice as it is. And for those of you suitably equipped on your telly, this one has got Dolby Vision, so you might even see an improvement in colour and density there. But in here, with the quality of this one, it was just like going back to a central London premiere house to see a master print or a 70mm blow-up. Now this one didn't have 70mm blow-ups, they'd virtually all but gone by 1999, but I can well imagine how good this one would have looked at the Empire Leicester Square or the Odeon Leicester Square, even the Odeon Marble Arch, when that was chopped down into a 5-screen multiplex, because they did still keep the big screen in Studio One. So it must have been really impressive to see it back then looking just like this on a huge screen, and I was very impressed with it on here, on not such a huge screen, but about 9 foot 2 inches wide. I must get the tape measure out and measure exactly how wide it is, because people do keep asking me, but it's about that, and it did look absolutely beautiful. So there's one I wasn't expecting to recommend, but a very well made thriller, and it's got Ashley Judd and Tommy Lee Jones in the lead roles. And Tommy Lee Jones, well, I always find myself looking at anything with a view to purchase that he's in, and the two of them together actually play really well. Now on the extras on the Blu-ray we've got a making of, which was a period making of, so presumably on DVD and Blu-rays previously. There's an interview conversation sort of thing with director Bruce Bereford, which is interesting, and there's an alternative ending, which, to be fair, it was never finished, but I didn't find that particularly appealing, and just as well they dropped it and went with the ending they had. So that's all that's on the Blu-ray as extras, probably about half an hour running time in total, but it does complement the film, and in a way it's not too much, so it's nice that you can actually get through it without spending all day looking at it. And so a very nice package, and as I've already said, recommended, perhaps highly recommended for some of us of a certain age. Now, talking of the extras and how it's quite nice not to have too many, I've been sent a preview disc, another Second Sight Films preview disc, and I'm sure most of us know by now that Second Sight Films, they do just about the best special releases of anything on Blu-ray and 4K. This is a film called May that I wasn't aware of. It's a 2002 film, and it's being released on a special Blu-ray pack on the 24th of July 2023, and I'll probably take a closer look sooner to the release date, but I have had a look. I've watched the film. It's a black comedy, that's all I'll say, but it's pretty gruesome at times, but the lead girl in it, she's fabulous. Anyway, that's another special that's coming from Second Sight Films. I will take another look at it and get through it a bit easier perhaps, but just to say at the moment I've found myself strangely really enjoying it, and I'm tempted by that Second Sight special, so let's see what happens there, but that's one to keep an eye out for. And another review print has come through, which I think will interest people because it's been done by the director of Dog Soldiers and The Descent, and it's a film called The Lair. Now, I saw this was coming and I said, well, if you want to send me a review copy of that, I will take a look, because I thought it might appeal to some of you out there that are into these sort of gruesome horror movies, and this to me looks like it might have a bit of an alien influence, so that one does look like it's right up my street, so let's take a look at that soon. That one's coming out on 17th of July 2023, so in a future video I'll cover this one fully on the back of something else. So anyway, I think that's all there's to report just now. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and perhaps consider subscribing so I'll be encouraged to carry on creating content like this. Until the next video, bye bye for now.